Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be another are they full bottle worthy. Before we get into the video, quick disclaimer, this is in no way fully reviewing all of these. These are just my initial thoughts and whether I'm going to get a full bottle, like maybe it's a love at first sniff, or maybe I'm going to pursue more samples, or maybe I knew right off the bat it's not a fragrance for me. I might, if there's a little bit left over, revisit it in a different season. But honestly, there's so many fragrances out here. Why even try to make something work? It's just when it comes to niche, there are some designers, but when it comes to niche, I don't like blind buying because they are a little bit more complex and different. And I've attempted blind buying and failed. So let's go ahead and get into the video. I'm gonna start with my designers. So I did finally, I've had these samples for a while. I've had the Burberry Her samples. I don't know why. I guess because everyone just compared the original to Baccarat Rouge 540. They've been sitting there for over a year. So I've heard a lot about London Dream, the Intense, which I haven't tried yet, and the original. So we'll start with the original, and I'll tell you guys right now, the original was a scrubber for me. Now, I found this one to smell more like Cloud than Baccarat Rouge 540, but they all fall in the same kind of scent family. So neither of them are a dupe of one another. They just have similarities, and you might like one over the other, or you might like all three. This isn't something that I would smell on someone and might get confused if they have on BR 540, but I might think they had Cloud on. With that said, this does have a very synthetic strawberry note that bothers me. And I saw in reviews, because I do like to, when I'm testing, I like to read other people's thoughts. And I did see a lot of people mention the strawberry shortcake dolls. And yes, very nostalgic, something I enjoy smelling on paper. But it got obnoxious on my skin, and I did have to scrub this one off. So this wasn't one that I felt the need to continue or pursue. And again, that is Burberry Her, the Eau de Parfum. Now, Burberry Her London Dream. This is more up my alley. This one does have a touch of Her, but I have to be looking for it. It does have a touch of the original. This to me, I don't know if there's a strawberry note in this one, but if it is, this one just comes off a little bit more softer, powdery, clean and fresh to my nose. And I did go ahead and pick up a full bottle of this. I'm refilming this video. So there are a couple that I picked up bottles of. You're gonna see them in my epic birthday haul. So I did end up getting a full bottle of Burberry Her London Dream, and I'll go over this one in a little more detail in my haul because I don't have any of my notes in front of me, but this one is for me full bottle worthy. Okay, the next we have La Nuit Tresor Intense, and I have another sample because I do want to revisit this one because I don't personally like this one in Florida spring or summer. It's too hot, and this one did get a little cloying, but when I tested this out, I immediately bought a 30 ml. I'll link the site. It is a French site, so it is a little hard to navigate because even if you put English, part of it is English, part of it is French. So I had ordered a 30 ml and it sold out, and they don't see themselves restocking it. So they asked me if I wanted a 50 ml, but by that point I had already tested this one out several times. Usually I don't spray it normal when I test. I test heavily on one arm. That way I can get, like, if I was going to overspray, and also I'll get several uses. That's just how I test fragrances when they're this small. So I did test it out, and I told them to just go ahead and cancel the order because this is one that if I did purchase, I would prefer in fall and winter, and I would also want a 30 ml. This isn't something I'm going to wear in spring and summer. But when I smelled this, it smelled familiar. It's kind of a cherry almond scent. So I took to Fragrantica, and people said that this smells like Guerlain's La Petite Robe Noire. I didn't own the original. I owned the Black Perfecto. And it does have that cherry almond that's in that one, except that one had leather and was a little more powdery. So I did enjoy that this one didn't get powdery on my skin, because that was something that bothered me in Perfecto. But I did like the leather that was in that one. So this one is nice, but after I tested it out again, I'm like, do I need it? Because I did end up decluttering that one, and the cherry note that's in here is only in the opening and then quickly fades. And that's actually what I enjoy about this scent. I really enjoy the cherry opening. So again, I have another sample, so I'll probably play with this one a little bit more. I do believe that this is going to be limited edition, and they aren't going to be releasing it in the US. So I don't know. I don't know if it's special enough to hunt this one down, because if it smells like the original La Petite Robe Noire, that one's more accessible. So again, I've never smelled that one. Again, that is La Nuit Tresor, the Intense. And as of right now, this isn't full bottle worthy, but it is one that I'm gonna test out in cooler weather. So next we have some samples that were sent to me by Twisted Lily. I'm gonna have them linked down below because I am affiliated with them now, so I'm gonna have their information linked down below. And they specialize, I want to say, mostly in just niche fragrances, but what I like about them is they offer samples to me that are more affordable. I use different places to sample because they don't have everything, but I check with them first because they're more affordable and they come in sprayers. A lot of the other discounters or just retailers that sell samples, it's the same price but for a 1 ml, and it's not a sprayer. So usually what I was doing was I was buying 2 1 mls and then decanting them to kind of get this 2 ml. But you get the 2 ml, it sprays, and it's more affordable in my opinion. And they have a lot of discovery sets. So in addition to them sending me a kit, and I'm going to go over half the kit now and the other half in another video, I am going to be purchasing several discovery sets, because while I didn't find a lot of hits in this kit, it did get me interested into trying certain houses because I enjoyed the way the perfume or fragrance smelled. It just wasn't for me. So first up, we're going to go over Mancera Juicy Flower. So this one, I will say off the bat, performed well. I know it's a little sample, but I sprayed this, and I sprayed it again. I like to test just on one arm so that I can kind of spray it heavily. So I sprayed it on one arm and it lasted till the next day. So much so that this is one that gave me a headache. So if you guys don't know, Mancera and Montal, I did get a lot of decants, which I'm going to be including some of those in my videos because I do plan on doing more of these videos. But they're a house that a lot of their fragrances have something kind of like something that's them, but it comes off very synthetic on my skin. It was Greta Beth that described it perfectly. They're great in the dry down, but they're a little harsh in the opening, and I have to agree with that. A lot of Mancera and Montals are a little bit harsh. I think she said brash in the opening, but it's also the musk that is in certain niche houses that I just can't deal with. They're probably better quality, but for whatever reason, they give me a headache. So this one, I actually really enjoyed it, but it started to give me a headache. And yeah, it's the musk. And I think people compared this to Tiziana Terenzi's Kilke. So I was a little nervous about that one because that one was a little overripe to me. It was a little much. But this one I enjoyed more, but it did give me a headache after a while. So a lot of people also compared this one to Xerjoff's Herba Pura, I believe it's called. I have a sample of that, so I am going to be comparing the two and talking about that one in a later video because I still have a lot. Again, I sprayed this and I didn't need that much. I am going to be saving the other half so that I can compare them, because there is something about this scent profile that I like. But for Tiziana Terenzi, the fruit got a little too much to me, and then again the musk. For this one, I actually enjoyed the mix of fruit, and this one didn't have that kind of synthetic opening that most of the Mancera and the Montal fragrances have to my nose. But it was the musk that was in here that kind of, again, after a while just kind of gave me a headache. So it is one that I'm gonna play with, but if a fragrance gives me a headache, I usually don't continue. It could have been full bottle worthy, but after wearing it, it turned into a no. Now this next one I'm gonna go over went from no to kind of. Yeah, this I actually have on today. This is Purple Fig, and this is from the house of Wilhelm Perfumery. So I'm just gonna go ahead and touch up. When I first tried this one, I was like, no. But then I wanted to kind of refresh my memory, and I could not stop smelling my arm. I had Juicy Flowers on this arm and Purple Fig on this arm, and I was kind of upset because Juicy Flower was overpowering this scent, but I just kept sniffing myself. This one doesn't project as loudly as the Juicy Flowers, but again, that could just be because this is a very small 2 ml. But this is like the most natural fig scent, but think of more like fig, like tart fig leaf. It's not that coconut fig that I get sometimes. It's more of a tart green juicy fig. I definitely want to test out Purple Fig more, and then I want to get the Discovery set. I want to try Mango Skin because that one's very popular. They do offer different sizes, so that's always good when a niche house offers, like, you know, I've seen little bottles, I've seen travels, so I might go for the travel because this is just gorgeous. But I want to go over this house in more detail once I get the Discovery set. But this is definitely one that I'm tempted to buy a full bottle of. So again, that is Purple Fig, and this is from Wilhelm Perfumery. Okay, then another sample that I got was Juliette Has a Gun Anyway. And this is a house that I have. This is my 4th. They're nice, but I do find them to be a little overpriced for what they are. A lot of people like Juliette Has a Gun, and I would say Juliette Has a Gun is probably how I feel about Kayali. The 4 that I've tried have the same kind of intimate feel as Kayali, but I enjoy the blendability of those and the aesthetic, and I don't care for these, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm going to spend the money on a more intimate scent, I go for those. It kind of falls in that line of like philosophy perfumes. Again, the Kayali perfumes, more of the first 4, like the citrus, the musk. They're clean, more skin scents in my opinion. These tend to lean a little more musky to me. But for me, this isn't a bad scent. This is actually a really nice scent. And if it was something that I was into, like if you are into like collecting the Juliette Has a Gun perfumes, this one's actually really nice. This is a really nice, clean kind of musk, fresh scent. And I don't know if there's musk in here, but that's what I'm getting. Let me look it up. Sorry if you can hear Oliver snoring. He is knocked out. The top 2 accords are citrus and musky, but this one has lime, neroli, jasmine, and Broxton musk woodsy notes. For me, this isn't full bottle worthy just because I'm not really drawn to this house, but it's not a bad fragrance at all. So again, that's Juliette Has a Gun Anyway. All right, and then I think, oh no, I have 2 more. I'm really excited to talk about this one. This one is not full bottle worthy, but it came close. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been chasing the scent profile of Roses Vanille, Intense Cafe, Florence by Swiss Arabian, just kind of that scent profile, because there's something about it that I love and something about it that I hate. So this falls in there, but not right away. So this is Juice Box Perfumes, and I don't know if it's Juice Box, it's just spelled differently, but I'll pop in the name down here. This fragrance definitely has me wanting to sample more from this house, but this one didn't work out for me because of the dry down. The opening of this scent is absolutely stunning. It doesn't open like those perfumes. Oh my goodness. The boozy opening of this scent is gorgeous. When I tested this out, I'm like, oh, I'm getting a full bottle of this. but when it dries down, it is Roses Vanille, Intense Cafe, Florence. So this one has bergamot, peach, osmanthus. This has rose. This has rum absolute, whiskey accord. So it's a very boozy opening, but then it dries down to vanilla, suede, and musk. And it has that kind of same vibe as those, and it dries down very close to those, like the Deluxe by Tiziana Terenzi. All those fall in the same scent family, and they all smell very close to my nose. But if you enjoy that scent profile and you love intoxicating boozy scents, this is probably my favorite. Well, actually, Gentle Fluidity Gold, which to me is probably the one that vibes but is furthest away from those, because I do feel like it's more of a vanilla scent. So that one I would say is probably my favorite. But if I had to pick one from those that smell very similar, it would be this one. This one just, it's more intoxicating. It's more boozy. So if you like that one, I would definitely check this one out. This one is, sorry, I didn't say the name. This one is, again, I don't know if it's Jukebox or Juice Box, but it's Siren and Sailors. So check out Siren and Sailors if you really enjoy that kind of scent profile, because this one is really, really good. Almost full bottle worthy, except the dry down. I would definitely say if you enjoy that kind of scent profile, check that one out. Sample it. Again, check out Twisted Lily. The last one I'm going to talk about from them that they sent was Raja Perfumes. And this is Lily Perfume. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this one is not full bottle worthy. This was a little bit of a scrubber for me. It smells good on the paper. Like, I'm smelling it on the paper and it smells good. But this had a very vintage, old school floral that I didn't like. But on the paper, it's not that bad. It's a little sweeter on the paper. It's very kind of white floral. This is a very floral heavy scent. Let me see what the notes are. It has lily. It has tiare flower, ylang ylang, jasmine, cloves. Again, Raja makes very beautifully blended fragrances. But this is predominantly white floral to my nose. There is something kind of warm that's probably coming from the tiare flower and the ylang ylang. I don't want to say beachy, like it's not suntanny, but there's just something warm about ylang ylang and tiare flower that kind of give me that kind of beachy vibe. But since it's so blended in here, it almost adds a warmth to it instead of that beachiness that it can add to other fragrances. On the paper, it's really lovely. But I remember testing it and scrubbing it off. I don't know. I do want to keep what's left to try maybe in cooler weather. As of right now, this one's definitely not full bottle worthy. It's just a little too white floral, and there's just other perfumes that I enjoy from this house. So I want to be better about not trying to make something work, but it came off a little too vintage to my nose. So again, that is Lily Perfumes Perfume by Raja Dove. So next we have Goldfield Banks, Australia, and the presentation of their discovery set is really nice. It's not that expensive. It comes with this little book that kind of goes over each of the scents. It comes with these little testers. I'm gonna go over two because I plan on going over this house more in depth at a later date, and then I did get Silky Woods separately. So we are gonna go over Southern Bloom because this is one that I thought was full bottle worthy. I got it. I'm gonna hang on to it, try it out in cooler weather because the sample is a little different from the large bottle that I got. So when I sampled this, I'm like, oh goodness. When I sampled this, I'm like, this smells like something I have. But I couldn't put my finger on it, which really frustrated me because I'm like, how do you not know this? Because as soon as I pulled it up and I saw what people compared it to, I was kicking myself. This is compared to Tom Ford's Velvet Orchid. This does smell a lot like Velvet Orchid, but to me this smells like if a Velvet Orchid went to the beach. This smells like Velvet Orchid with coconuts. I kept getting wafts of it when I sampled it, and then when I got the full bottle, I thought this was going to be my ultimate nighttime beachy scent. But my full bottle smells like baby powder. I get a touch of the coconut, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it needs to sit. I don't know if it needs to get stronger, because again, this is just a little sample. I get a lot of coconut in this one. I don't know if it has coconut. So this was described as sunrise, you get floral, creamy, and it's pure. And then in sunset, it's exotic and opulent. So I did feel like it was exotic. It has this this flower that is supposed to be, let me pull up the note. So this one has Baronial Absolute Tasmania. So I guess that is like a flower that blooms in September, and it's a very, I've never smelled it, but it's supposed to be a very beautiful exotic flower. And then it has sandalwood, ylang ylang, and coconut. So it was that ylang ylang and coconut that I was like, oh, this is velvet orchid. Like you took velvet orchid to the beach. And I mean, it's strong. I bought this one immediately. Like this one was absolutely gorgeous, and it did have a powderiness. I'm not gonna lie, but my bottle smells like pure baby powder. So sometimes sampling can go a little wrong. It was full bottle worthy, and now that I have it, I don't know if it's gonna stay. The sample didn't smell like the bottle, unfortunately. So next we have Silky Woods, and this one is really popular right now. This one smells like something else as well. So as you can see, my sample is pretty much full. So when I sprayed this, I'm like, this smells like something. Yeah. And I couldn't put my finger on it, and I got upset again. I'm like, is it the Manceras, the Mentals? And I'm like, no. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And it's because this smells like the perfume I'm going to talk about. If you stripped away that beautiful caramel apple opening and took out some of the other notes that I enjoyed and just left the white woods and annoying woody side of this scent that started to bug me, that's what this scent is. So I went to Fragrantica because I needed to know what I was smelling. It smelled a lot like something else I've smelled. People said it smelled like Casablanca. And yes, it smells like the way dry down of Casablanca with an added like vanilla kind of accord. But the parts of Casablanca that annoyed me. So when I first hauled Casablanca, I absolutely loved and adored that scent. But the more and more I started picking up other perfumes, because I picked up Casablanca in 2019. That was at the start of testing out perfumes, and that was at the start of my channel when I was just getting into notes and really smelling things. I didn't pick up a lot of what I picked up after owning it a little while later. So as I started developing my nose and picking up other notes that I never used to pick up, I started picking up something very annoying in the base of that fragrance. And that is what I pick up in this one. Now that doesn't mean, because again, this is very popular. A lot of people really like this scent. A lot of people like Casablanca, but I don't get that caramel apple opening that I love so much about Casablanca. It's more of the base notes, and I had to scrub this one off, and it was hard to scrub off. So I'm gonna guess that this performs very well. I do want to test it out in winter, because I do feel like certain perfumes smell different, but I just want to test it out to see if I get something different just for the fun of it. But it's definitely not full bottle for me, just because it was a scrubber for me. And it definitely isn't a dupe, because again, it doesn't have that caramel apple that Casablanca has. For me, it's the dry down, and then with added vanilla. I think this has vanilla in it. I don't know, but there is something kind of sweet about it. Yeah, there is Tahitian vanilla. There's tobacco leaf. I don't know if it's the oud or what it is in here, but I didn't like this one. So this isn't one I'm going to pursue further. So again, that's Silky Woods. Next, we're going to go over Initio's Atomic Rose. If you guys saw my special occasion perfumes video, you know that this was a contender for my birthday scent, and it did end up being my birthday scent. Now is a full bottle worthy. I got this one because a lot of you guys recommended it. I did end up wearing this as my scent of the night, and I also wore Delina's hairspray mist, and I got that combo from, I think it's Lauren Redolence. I have her link down below. This does smell and vibe very similar to Delina. And if you saw my video, I had mentioned that this has Delina and almost the vanilla from Gentle Fluidity Gold combined. It's very Delina, but without the tartness and the greenness, and with like a creamy vanilla base. This scent is gorgeous. And I am going to continue to wear the decant. It is potentially a full bottle worthy, but at the same time, I have Delina and I have Delina La Rosée. Do I need this one? I don't know. But it is one that I wish they sold a smaller bottle of, because it's one that I would use, I think, more in cooler weather. It was cold on my birthday. We had actually had a drop in temperature, so it was perfect. It got down to the high 30s, I believe it was. It had been warm all week, and on my birthday, the weather had dropped. So I do think this is more of a colder or cooler weather fragrance, but I didn't need a lot. I brought this with me to top off, and I didn't need to. I remember I hugged Maria. So Maria and Takara did come for my birthday. And I remember that I had hugged Maria, and I had already had my fragrance on for a few hours, and she's like, what are you wearing? So she could smell me. So this definitely is an amazing performing perfume. Definitely one that I love and enjoy, but I want to make sure I will use it because it is pricey. And I have Delina, which I love just as equally, if not more, because I am more of a fruity girl. And even though that one's not fruity, it's got a tart fruitiness, and it is a little bit more green and fresh, which I prefer. And it's one that I can wear year round, whereas this one I think would be more appropriate in cooler weather, which we just don't have a lot of. So I go back and forth because I absolutely loved this scent, and I'm happy that I chose it for my birthday. It lasted through the whole night. I got compliments. Combined with the Delina hairspray, it just went perfect. But again, it vibes very similar. It's just what I wanted Exclusive to be. It's a little bit more creamy, a little bit more vanilla, but it is a stunner. This is one that now I definitely want to try more from this house. And again, that is Inicio's Atomic Rose. So that is my Are They Full Bottle Worthy list. I want to do more of these videos. I find them really fun to just kind of come here, let you guys know my initial thoughts. If I'm going to pursue again another sample, decant, or just get the bottle, or if it just didn't work out and I know I'm not going to get the bottle. And then also just hearing your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. I really enjoy that as well. But let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on some of these perfumes? Do you have any of them? But that will do it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.